Good evening, dear teacher. Now I'm going to explain my lesson plan 3. Um, the theme of the lesson plan is mysteries past perfect. It is the theme that we're going to treat on my class. The grade is for first year of senior high school. The proficiency level is for elementary. The TEFL objectives that I propose here is that we will be able to identify the parts of a story. We will be able to make correct use of adverbs, use of the past perfect properly. The methodology and strategies that I implement on my lesson plan are direct method, the audiolingual method, and the grammar translation method. The strategies that I'm going to use in my class is the individual work, the written exercise, the dialogue, and the worksheets. The anticipatory sets, we have the teacher begins his class by greeting his students, and after that he introduces them a little to the subject of this study by asking them the following questions. What are the favorite stories and why? What kind of stories do you like to read or listen to? The students and the teacher were changing their ideas to be able to share it with the whole class. It is a part in which I'm going to introduce my students in a way of dialogue to the topic of my class. In the number 5, we have the main teaching input. We start working with lesson 1 on whose theme is mysteries. The teacher will make them listen to an audio where a story is told, and the student must be attentive to it. Here I'm going to use the audiolingual method because it is related with audio and pronunciation. Next we have the after having listened to the audios, they must first analyze the images that they have in the book, and in order to be able to order them chronologically with their corresponding literals. Here I'm going to use the direct method because my students have to analyze in English and be able to put in order the story that we have here. They should also use the word bank to be able to complete the following exercise that consists of filling in the blanks with the adverbs according to how they fit with the sentences. Yes, here's in the part also we have a word bank with adverbs that my students after have to use in the next section to complete every sentences that are part of the story. The teacher makes them listen to the audio of the story again so that the students put in chronological order with their capital letters, and also in the section below they must fill in each adverb with its corresponding meaning where the teacher will help them to do so. Yes, we have to listen again the audio to put in any box the corresponding capital letter according to the story that we heard. Again, the teacher begins with the grammatical part, explaining to the student and teaching them the past perfect, how it is used, under what context it is used, and how it is structured. Here I'm going to use the grammar translation method because I'm bring and give to my students some tips and rules about the past perfect and how to use it. The teacher writes on the blackboard an example in which the past perfect is used for students to analyze said example, and the students can clearly grasp how it is structured and in what form the verbs go. Yes, I'm going to explain um, more about grammatic about grammar. The teacher will make a graph on the blackboard to be able to explain how the past perfect in in the time is established. Yes, here on the textbook we have a graphic that I'm going to write in the on the blackboard to explain my students how work the past perfect in relation to the time. The teacher writes the teacher will make a graph on the blackboard to explain how the past perfect in time is established. Once the teacher feels that the grammatical contents were understood by all students, he proceeds with the following exercise, which consists of putting true or false in which they have questions related to the dialogue and they complete it in the paragraph above. Uh, Next, we have modeling. With the help of students, the teacher proceeds to write more examples of simple past tense so that the students can help them in the production of these. Um, Thus, the teacher will analyze if it was true that the students understand what is previously explained to them. Yeah, because I'm going to analyze it on my students. Why the practice? For this activity, the teacher will ask the students to write 5 examples in their notebooks. They are going to work with their notebooks, giving me examples in which they must have use of the simple past. A time of 5 minutes is determined to develop this activity, and on this time has elapsed, the teacher will ask certain students to read their examples. Yes, randomly students are giving me their examples. I'm going to review if that examples that they send me are correct, or if the examples are incorrect, going to correct them. Independent practice, the teacher assigns each student a worksheet where they will have 5 questions related to the topic that was reviewed in class, which will explain how each question should be worked. Yeah, I'm going to give my students worksheets that are related only with the topics that we treat on the class, and I have to explain any questions to my students' comprehension. The questions that these worksheets contain are related to the vocabulary that was reviewed in class, examples, and some short sentences which must be completed by the students in a timely manner. For the development of this activity, the teacher determines a time of limit of 10 minutes in which he stands in front of the student checking. I'm going to check that my students work in order, individually and in silence, because they have to concentrate on their activities. The assessment, the teacher now asks certain students to go to the blackboard to write an example of sentences with past perfect and where they will analyze the possible errors in order to be corrected by, and also in these corrections the other students can participate from their desk. Or and say that in this activity I can work with whole class. To end the class, the teacher makes the students to do some relation exercise where they can ask about the class, and this question must be answered by the teacher so that everything is completely clear. And finally, I have to say that it part refers to the final part of the class, and it is all in this lesson plan. Thanks for watching.